Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing Season 2 of Lost. So after Season 1 introduced us to the survivors of the plane crash, Season 2 picks up where the Season 1 finale left off and sees Jack, Kate, and John Locke investigating the hatch, while Walt has been kidnapped by a mysterious group known as the Others. So this is kind of a Marmite season among Lost fans. You know, it's either going to be one of your favorites or one of your least favorites. And it's also debatable in of itself whether or not this is better than Season 1. As for me, while I don't think it's quite as fresh as Season 1, and it is one of my least favorite seasons, I still enjoyed this season for elevating the mythology and introducing some pivotal new characters. So let's get into it. So first of all, this season unravels the mystery that is the hatch, as we find out what lies beneath it and what its purpose on the island is. And through all of this, you come to realize that it's merely just a small part of a pivotal component in the show's mythology. Walt has also been kidnapped by the Others, and Michael, being his father, is willing to go to any lengths necessary to rescue him. And because of this, gone is the Michael we were introduced to in Season 1. The season introduces a couple of new key characters as well. First of all, there's Desmond Hume, played by Henry Ian Cusick, who has appeared in films such as the 2007 adaptation of the Hitman video games and other TV shows such as The 100 and the 2016 reboot of MacGyver. Desmond has actually been stranded on the island for quite some time prior to the crash, and although he was not on board the plane, he has actually interacted with a few of the characters prior to the events of the show. And he tends to end most of his sentences on the word brother. Plus, he was named after a Scottish philosopher named David Hume, who was known for discussing ideas of free will and determinism, things that were definitely integral to Desmond's character arc. And out of all of the new characters introduced this season, he is still my favorite to this day. Then you have Mr. Echo, played by Adewale Akinoye Abaje, who has appeared in several films such as The Mummy Returns, Thor: The Dark World, The Bourne Identity, G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra, and Suicide Squad, and TV shows such as Oz, Game of Thrones, and his Dark Materials. Mr. Echo is a Roman Catholic priest and a man of few words. He was created by the writers in an effort to explore the spiritual side of the show. And with the exception of John Locke, he's probably the only other character to actually come to terms with living on the island, without being consumed by the mere notion of trying to get off. Then there's Ana Lucia, played by Michelle Rodriguez, who everybody knows as Letty from the Fast and Furious franchise. Now, Ana Lucia is often considered to be one of the show's most hated characters, and it's easy to understand why. You know, she can be demanding at times, she can be hostile, and somewhat of a bully towards the other survivors, though the flashbacks dedicated to her will help you make sense of that. She also happens to embody some leadership qualities as well, though her leadership style contrasts Jack's. Whereas Jack is somewhat reluctant, she tends to take charge on her own terms. Then you have Libby. Very little is known about Libby's life prior to the crash, but she grew to be well liked by the fan base due to her interactions with Hugo. And then of course you have Henry Gale, played by Michael Emerson, who has appeared in films such as the original Saw and other TV shows like Person of Interest and Fallout. Henry is discovered by members of Jack's group, having supposedly landed by accident, and because of this his intentions are unclear. Henry is not only one of the show's best characters, but also one of the more morally ambiguous ones. Because while some would argue that he is only loyal to himself, it is often hinted throughout the show that he may be driven by some kind of higher purpose. The only other thing I can mention without going into spoilers is the finale. Now admittedly, this is my least favorite out of all the finales on the show, but even then it still made for compelling television, as it was way more tension-filled than the Season 1 finale, and we also learn another crucial detail about the mysterious Others group. Now, my one issue with Season 2 is pretty much the same issue I had with Season 1.
and that's the pacing. Though for this season, I think it was actually worse. Whereas season 1 tended to drag in its second half specifically, this whole season feels a tad bit too drawn out, especially at 24 episodes. As a result, the Hatch storyline takes a bit too long to actually get anywhere. But this is all due in large part mainly to the show's recurring use of flashbacks. And don't get me wrong, in the cases of the newer characters and the backstories of some of the returning characters, I guess it works. But by this point, it just feels like a classic case of padding out the season's runtime. And besides, there's only so many layers you can add to these characters after all. So yeah, those are my thoughts on season 2 of Lost. Next time I'm going to be taking a short break from my Lost retrospective to do a review of a Stephen King book, in this case, Salem's Lot, due to the release of the upcoming movie. So look forward to that very soon. Thank you all for watching, guys. Please be sure to like the video, share it and subscribe, ring the bell. Take care and I'll see you soon.